The locker room. It's been on the eyes and the ears of people since Donald Trump defended his 2005 comments to Billy Bush as locker room talk. Professional athletes from all kinds of sports, like MMA fighter CM Punk, NFL player Jacob Tamme, and Major League pitcher Sean Doolittle says this is not locker room talk. However, some say that this is. This is a comment posted from a good friend of mine on Facebook. It's that this language, the type that advocates sexual assault, is heard in the locker room among many other places, regardless of the good people we associate with. I'm not condoning it, in fact, quite the opposite. I'm stating that by society pretending it doesn't happen to further vilify Trump, which he deserves, that's not addressing the greater problem that it does happen. So, what does happen in a locker room? I went to my classmates who've been in locker rooms to find out. So Liam, what locker rooms have you been in?
Hockey locker rooms.
Okay.
That's like,
What type of conversation happens in a men's locker room?
I think it depends. The last time I was in a locker room, I was 13. So we didn't really talk about inappropriate things.
So Adam, you've been in football.
Yeah, hockey and some lacrosse as well.
Okay, and you've also been in a university locker room.
Yes.
Yeah, so the University of
Yeah,
Saskatchewan.
yeah.
So tell us what goes on in a men's locker room.
Just a lot of joking around, obviously, talking about things that happen in the weekend, maybe some party story. And also, I'm not going to lie, there is some talk about, a girl that you're interested in and whatnot like that.
So does it ever get in your mind as far as what Donald Trump said? Is that locker room talk in your mind?
Definitely. And I remember watching on CNN, Jake Tapper as well said, he's been in a lot of locker rooms, never heard anything like that. There definitely is a lot of boistering and a lot of lies that are not technically true, right? Like you're trying to impress people, hyperbole, over-exaggeration, maybe saying things that never actually happened, but you're trying to, in a men's locker room, you're trying to impress your teammates, and it's sad in the day we live in that sometimes people resort to saying unflattering things about women. It's not right, but it's definitely apparent in locker rooms, in any level, any sport.
So Cayenne, instructor here, what locker rooms have you been in?
I did track and field, so I was in track and field locker rooms mostly.
So what was the conversation like in the track and field locker room?
Usually pretty calm, actually. A lot of joking around, just joking around. Telling jokes, making fun of each other, kind of thing. Not even that so much. It's mostly just talking, actually.
Did it ever get to a sexually suggestive point?
Well, you would talk about girls, and sometimes but it's mostly she's hot or something like that. But pretty much that's about it.
So it never, in your mind, ever crossed a line to...
No, it never really crossed the mind. It never really crossed over into that. Like I'm referring to the Donald Trump thing.
Right.
Yeah, so in regards to the Donald Trump comments and the comments that he made, yeah, conversation never went into that direction. And if it did, I mean, it would happen, but very, very rarely. And usually if somebody did, that person was more it's like, buddy.
Persona non grata.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you're a little bit aggressive if you think that way. Just calm it down or something.
What locker rooms have you been in?
I played a bit of football and a bit of basketball in high school, but nothing else, I don't think.
And you just got out of high school, so you're...
I graduated 2 years ago. So.
2 years. Okay, 2 years ago. What was the locker room like in high school?
I honestly can't remember hearing too much obscene stuff. It was mostly just what we're gonna do that weekend, or what we're gonna do that night, or about the actual practice or game itself. I don't remember hearing anything really gross or out of line, so to say.
Did you feel a certain peer pressure to act a certain way in the locker room?
Not really.
No?
Not really. People, I feel like there were many different personalities in the locker room, and I feel like everyone was different, and that's kind of what made everyone interact with each other. So I wouldn't say there was any peer pressure for anyone, at least in the context of being in the locker room.
If someone said something that you felt was out of line, would you confront that, or what would you do?
If I was at school, like in that time,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have done anything because I'm just not that type of person because I don't think they would stop talking about it even if I asked them to. So I would just kind of keep it in my head and just keep a memo that that guy is kind of a douchebag or something like that.
Yeah. But is there peer pressure, do you think, to be a certain way in a men's locker room?
I think it depends on who you are, really. Some people feel the peer pressure. I could see how they would, but I try not to be influenced by that. So like if something wasn't okay what someone said, I'd like to think that I'd be able to be like, hey man, shouldn't say that. But there are definitely people who'd probably just, they might not join in, but they wouldn't speak out against it because like they know it's wrong, but they don't feel confident enough to be like, that's not right.
Have you ever been in a situation where you feel like if it was at a line that you've had to step in and say, look, this is inappropriate?
Maybe not. Like maybe like. I guess not. Maybe I got to be honest. In my situation, some of the things I heard have never been this grotesque. If there's something that Donald Trump said, I think I'd step up. But in my opinion, the things I've heard are very harmless and are not, I guess, malicious when it comes to, like, if you're just talking about maybe a girl that you want to see, and the guy, for instance, the guy said, oh, she's a great girl, she's super hot, or something like that. Obviously, that's kind of a lower thing that they might say, but it's more like that. And if it's a guy's girlfriend, they'll never talk out of turn like that. Or if it's a girl that he wants to maybe eventually talk with, they'll say maybe over exaggerate. And at the end of the day, if a guy's seeing a girl and he's saying messed up things, that's obviously messed up. But at the end of the day, I think it's more bragging than anything, and also over exaggerating and not actually saying things that you truly mean. I think it's more just like peacocking, right? You just want to one up the next person's story or whatnot, and sometimes it gets taken far. But at the end of the day, things in the locker room, as messed up as that is, stay in the locker room.
Do you think that behavior that you're describing is consistent in most locker rooms, or do you feel that depending on the sport, it would be different?
You know what? I don't know. I only played football in high school for like 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, the conversation was never like that. The conversation was pretty much just like the track, like the track locker room, where it was like joking around, really. A lot of times, we were nerds, man. A lot of times we talked about our technique and stuff and what we're going to do in the afternoon or what we're going to do in the weekend or whatever. Like, we didn't really, I mean, besides, like I said before, about maybe mentioning something about girl being hot or bugging somebody because he clearly likes somebody and she doesn't know it, that kind of thing. Besides that, no, not really. It never really got into anything.
Okay.
So, Justine, you've actually been in hockey locker rooms,
Yep.
volleyball locker rooms.
I dressed in my own room, but
No,
yeah.
like you've been on a volleyball team.
Yep, with the
You've been
boys, yeah.
And you've been the
Baseball.
only baseball. Any? Am I missing any?
With the boys? No, those are the three main sports I do
Right.
with boys, yeah.
And you've been the only female in this locker room.
Yeah.
Okay. So, from your perspective, what's the type of conversation that you've heard in the?
Oh, I've heard it all. I've heard some really nasty things, but I've just I've got used to it. But not everybody's grown up like that. Not every girl's grown up on the boys' team, hearing those kind of things. So for me, it really nothing really shocks me anymore.
It's interesting that you said that because all of the other guys have said that they haven't heard anything that has crossed that in their mind has crossed the line.
Oh, I've heard lots of things that guys have said that probably shouldn't have been said and are like really sexually not good for girls, like really mean things about girls. But I mean, I grew up listening to them say those kind of things, so never took offense to it.
If you were offended, how would you have responded?
Because I know them so well, I'd probably just punch them. Probably, I don't know. I'm not a tattletale, So if I'm going to deal with it, I'm going to deal with it with them directly.
Okay. 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 So what you're saying is it's kind of, there is a line that has been crossed in locker rooms in your mind.
Oh, for sure. And there's lots of things that that I'm sure the boys talk about when I'm not there too. They could even be dialing it back for me. But like, something's definitely have crossed the line.
Okay. Do you think that meant they're dialing it back, or they were told, okay, Justine's in the locker room, let's be a little careful here, let's be a little sensitive? Do you think that that's happened, or?
Not really.
No?
They know,
Okay. No,
they
I'd
know
be
me
honest,
so
yeah.
well. Yeah, they know me so well. I mean, like, they're all the same guys I grew up with, you know? They've seen me look terrible. They've seen me look good. I've seen the bad sides of them. They've seen the bad sides of me. So I don't think really they hold much back from me, to be honest.
So what do you think? What do you think about what happens in a locker room? Follow me on Twitter at KEVOLE, add me as a friend on Facebook, or like and subscribe to this video. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.